Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled, Can One Give Up One's Life? Mesirat Nefesh, even when one is not obligated to. In previous year, we were talking about Tamar, where she went ahead and was willing to give up her life. We learned three opinions. Some say, in order to avoid embarrassing Yehuda, she had to do that. Some say she was allowed to do it. Some say that we do not learn halacha l'maaseh out from that case. What about another case? We all know for the big three, one has to give up his life, adultery, idolatry, and killing someone. But let's say the Gentile simply says to the person, I want you to go ahead, and I want you to eat treif. But it's not in public. It's not in order to humiliate the Jew and Judaism. It is not during the time of decrees. It is simply privately. He wants to go ahead and privately make the Jew eat treif. So the Shulchan Aruch goes ahead and says that one does not have to give up his life. It's not one of the big three. Now, one would think if one doesn't have to give up his life, he has to remain alive, meaning he has to eat the treif. It's all or nothing. Either a person has to die or he must stay alive. There's no option. That's what one would think, and the Rambam does maintain that one must stay alive in such a case. And either he has the halachot of Yehared Vayavor, where he must give up his life, either the big three, or it's in public and the person is looking to humiliate Judaism, or it's a time of decrees against the Jews. And if it's not any of those halachot, in those cases, then one must stay alive and eat the treif. The Tosfos holds that one can be machmir, believe it or not, be stringent on himself and say, I am going to die, and not violate that Isser, and I'm going to die al Kiddush Hashem. That's his opinion. What's even more fascinating, the Shulchan Aruch in Yardei Kuf Nun Zayin, you would think you would quote the Rambam's opinion, which of course is a prominent part of the Shulchan Aruch in general, and he can mention Tosfos as well. He doesn't even mention the Rambam's opinion. He simply says, if one wants to be machmir and stringent and give up his life, Rashai, he's allowed to. It's an unbelievable halacha, but that is what the Shulchan Aruch says. The Shach says, I don't understand. How do you not mention the Rambam? Safek nefashot. Any kind of doubt about nefashot, about a person's life, we are stringent to stay alive. Person not feeling well on Shabbat. I don't know. Will I make it till it's Shabbat? Should I go to the emergency room now? You're not sure. Go. Drive to the hospital. Do what you need to do. Birth, maybe we could give birth at home. Maybe we don't have to go to the hospital. So safek, any doubt, we are stringent and lean towards the sake of saving someone's life and violating Shabbat if we need to. So why not the same here? The Shach says, he says the whole topic of dying on Kiddush Hashem, we see the idea of dying on Kiddush Hashem overrules the ideas of nefashot, the normal rules of nefashot. So not only when one has to die, do we go ahead and say that's the halacha. We don't say, well, nefashot, we have to keep a person alive. So the whole question, if there's a safek, according to the Rambam, verse to Tosfos, we're not going to incorporate the rules of safek nefashot, the rules of, well, it's a question of human life, so we have to go to the Rambam's opinion. No, the normal rules are out according to the Shach and his understanding of the Shulchan Aruch. What do we see from all this? We see from all this the importance, of course, of our physical lives, but what's more important is our spiritual lives. And the fact is, a person can lose 10, 20, 30, 50, 70 years from his life. That is true. But the Torah says that we have to give up our lives for Kiddush Hashem. That is what one must do in the areas of Chiyuv. And it is incredible to hear that there's such a category of optional, at least according to Shulchan Aruch and Tosfos and others, where one may give up his life. Once again, teaching us the importance that we are here. We're essentially trying to be spiritual human beings. And the physical years that we have is only as far as part of a greater picture. And therefore you can have some shitot that might sound like, wow, how could that be? Yeah, it could be when we have the proper understanding and premises. Shalom.